What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well. Manchester United 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. And yes, we got there in the end. Opened the season with a 1-0 victory, 3 points in the bag. Was it entirely deserved? No, I don't think it certainly was. But this is the full-time view where you can call in if you are a member and have your say. The link will be going out shortly. I will let you know once the link has gone out. Members only, of course. Obviously, everyone can watch, but only members can participate. If you do wish to join the UV Members Club, you can do so. Links in the video description. It's also the pinned comment in the live chat. As mentioned, you can call in and have your say. Before I do, I've got some housekeeping stuff to do because I got a message from KG saying that he missed out on a load of super chats. And you know us here at United View want to make right by everyone that contributes to the channel. So I can't see who this one is from because KG has cut it out in the picture that he sent to me. Nevertheless, they say, I take back my defense of Casemiro. He was rubbish, as rubbish as they all were, I guess. Need to get up to speed quickly. Thankfully, we got 3 points, the only positive. Ankit says, KG, Wamby, 1 out of 10 assists. Vicky's been a member for 11 months. Says, Varane, 2 years ago, he was official. Today is official Varane Day. JD Carmelo says, Alawau, yo, it's Mount's first game, chill, man. And Billy Jones also said, we won the game. Even Man City had games like this last year. You don't always win pretty. The fan base with so much negativity, always it's as if Wolves beat us 7-0. Bad games happen, we move. They're the super chats again that came over from the last show. Want to make sure that we do right by you, the UV community. How is everybody doing? Oh, wow. Where do we start there? And actually, before I even say what I think, the link has gone out. It's on the community tab for members only. So if you are a member of United View, the UV Members Club, you can go to the community tab. Links there. Click it. We'll get you on the show. You can have your say, your opinion. Just to start off and give you my thoughts on the game. First half, I thought it was very reminiscent of when we played Lens last weekend, whereby all right, you know, in the first half, some okay passes, but very flat, very sluggish, and just no real end product. Like again, it felt like it was a game either in preseason or at the end of the season. It was just, again, I think the best way to describe it would be sluggish, flat. That was just about it. Alejandro Garnacho started once again. He's having this issue clearly whereby just when we think he's ready to start games, he starts and he doesn't really do that much. And then suddenly you look at him differently and say, well, maybe he's an impact player. Midfield, we were completely overrun in the midfield, I felt. Mason Mount and Casemiro, if that's going to be the pair in this season, they're going to have to get up to speed a lot because we got overrun so many times. Marcus Rashford, this was my worry about him playing through the middle. He's just not effective. Yeah, I mean, yes, and people will say to me, yeah, but he scored against Lens. I mean, yeah, because again, for a 10, 15 minutes period, he can do that. But over the course of a season, over the course of 90 minutes, he's not a number 9. And when in certain instances he drifted out to the left, suddenly he looks more effective because that's his more natural position. That's where he can be more effective. Apart from that, again, didn't really get involved on the ball. Second half, I mean, I was thinking, right, if this is like the Lens performance, Erik ten Hag's going to put a rocket up him in the second in a halftime, and they'll come out and they'll really come flying. It was just very much more of the same. Wolves grew more and more into the game. I think they'll come out of this one tonight thinking, oh my goodness me, how didn't we win or get minimum something out of it? And if an alien came down, little alien, you know, they're doing it in the Pentagon at the moment, little alien comes out like that, and you say, hello, Mr. Alien, there is one team here that's had a manager for like a week. Another one came third and won a trophy last season. They'd go, the alien would say, I'm not going to do the alien impression. That would be weird. But he'd say, I think it's the team in the orange. That's probably the team that's more familiar with themselves as the better team because United looked like they were playing with a bunch of strangers at times. Wolves hit the post. Even by that point, they should have been in front. The midfield was just completely overrun. Cunha just took the absolute piss out of Casemiro and Mason Mount at times, and it was just too easy. And we're fortunate that really they didn't have a lot of end product because had it been against a better side, we'd have been put to the sword very easily. And the gaps were so big between Mason Mount and Casemiro. And substitutions were made. Eriksen, Sancho came on. I thought Sancho looked pretty bright, in fairness. Eriksen was spraying the ball around a bit better. I still thought that at points, Anthony, Bruno, they're all overplaying. Wolves, again, have a great counter. They still can't finish. we get the goal, Wan-Bissaka assist, Rafael Varane goal, and we've always got that possibility. We've always got that potential with the players that we have in the team to score a fantastic goal, what have you. But still, we were fortunate. And then towards the end, you've got big saves from Andre Onana. I think Wolves will feel that maybe they should have had a penalty as well. And where do I sit on the penalty? It's a difficult one. I couldn't complain that much had they give it. That was kind of my feeling on it. Had they give that, I can't complain, because Andre Onana comes out, and as a spectator, as a viewer, as soon as you see the keeper start flying out, you're thinking he's nowhere near this. He's scrambling, and he clatters the guy. And if they give a penalty, I would say, well, I can't really argue that much about it. The reason I felt that maybe it would have been slightly harsh is you do see that quite often in games, whereby ball comes out, keeper misses the ball, but he gets the player. And, you know, you could argue, did he sort of prevent Wolves from scoring a goal through that? Maybe not. So I don't know if I could still feel aggrieved there. Put it this way. The best way to look at penalties for me is, if the shoe was on the other foot, do I want a penalty there? Yes. I do want a penalty there if it was me. So I couldn't argue that much had it been given, honestly. But apart from that, Onana was excellent and made big saves. I mean, and we spoke last season often about David De Gea making saves and winning us football matches. Andre Onana did the same today. He made big saves too. And we were fortunate. You can't dress it up. United got away with one. They scraped a win. And look, bad games happen. It's the beginning of the season. This kind of thing can happen. So, you know, whatever. The positive is that you're winning when you're not playing well. I think my concern would be, and I say this a lot when you've got these big teams that maybe don't play particularly well, but they win games, is that that's not sustainable. And I remember saying that about Spurs last season. Remember, people forget this. Spurs started last season pretty well under Conte. They were third for a while. And people were like, oh, you know, it's City and Arsenal, but how is Spurs going to go on? And everyone said that's not sustainable. So you can't play like that every week and expect to really do big things this season. The positive is that if you compare it to last season, after one game, we had 0 points. After one game this season, we've got 3 points. And that's ultimately all that matters. But I'm sure, I haven't seen the quotes from Erik ten Hag. We might do that as the show goes on. But I don't think anyone can dress up that we didn't play well. I don't think anyone can dress up that we were not at our best. And a lot of work certainly has to be done, I think. And people are already calling for big signings. So there you go. Let's get to a couple of these super chats, then we'll get to some of your calls. Start off with Ethan Johnson says, a win's a win. We didn't deserve that result. I think that's probably fair to say. Amanor says, our midfield was inferior to Wolves midfield, which is worrying. Wolves, I mean, absolutely. Were all over our midfield. I said, Cunha bossed it. Absolutely bossed it and was easy. Several points just ran straight through. The ease of which Wolves could counter on us was frightening, really. And Corte Katorga HD is the latest member of the UB Members Club. Welcome to you. Let's get to some of your calls. Let's start off with Lucas Chan. Lucas, how you doing, my friend? What are your thoughts?
I'm doing very well, Owen. Thanks for having me. Yeah, that was a very worrying performance. And I wouldn't even say Varane saved us. I'd say the Stretford end saved us. They just pulled that goal in for us just to get us across the line. But yeah, it was great debut for Onana at Old Trafford. First one. But I'll say Lee Mason saved us on the VAR.
Yeah. What was your thoughts on the penalty shout? Do you could you complain had that been given?
Well, we saw it given to Messi at the World Cup. That one, I can't remember who it was, and but I do remember it was very similar. Just like he just dove recklessly, and then no one thought it was a pen at the time, but then it was given as a pen in the World Cup, and then this one, I was holding my breath just like everyone on, and thank God. But a win's a win. At least we start off with 3 points out of one game. So all I can say is we looked really lost today. And I thought we would have looked so much better after having a week off, a week full of training. Everyone's watching us today, and we looked really flat.
I mean, is that your concern? Because, like you said, you've got a full weekend of watching all of the big hitters play, whether it's City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Newcastle, Spurs. Even is the concern that actually we've got to face Spurs next away, and that was at home where we're good. If we play like that against Spurs, how do you think that's going to work out?
Spurs actually played really well this weekend. Like I thought, and like not throughout the whole 90, but they played a lot better. They looked a lot better, a lot cleaner. Like we looked so lost. I think we looked worse today than we did during preseason. I thought our preseason games, even the preseason games we lost, we looked a little bit better. I felt in some of those games, except for Real Madrid. This was really poor. I'm so glad I didn't have to wake up early to watch this.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Absolutely. I mean, what about the midfield then for you? Because obviously it was Mason Mount and Casemiro tonight. I mean, I spoke about it in my bit at the start there. I mean, they got overrun a bit. Was that a concern for you?
I actually thought Mason Mount played pretty well. He looked like he was the best midfielder out of the three, out of Bruno, Casemiro, and Mount. I thought he was the best one, in my opinion. Like, I'm giving him more time to just kind of get used to his teammates and everything. Like, I think this is maybe the second time he's played with Casemiro and Bruno. And I think every other time he's been with McTominay and Sancho and everyone else. So I think I'm still giving him time. I still think he'll be a good signing. But Casemiro looked a little bit off the pace today. He was like near the end, he looked like he was really struggling.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it was an interesting one also as well, actually, just thinking back through the game. Obviously, Lisandro Martinez got taken off at half-time. I mean, unless I've missed something, I think that was just because of the booking, unless they've said that he was injured. I don't know. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I kind of missed that too because I went to go get myself a drink and then I came back and I was like, oh, he's off. I was like, okay, I could see it. He's not. Lisandro, he also looked a little bit off the pace today. I don't know what it is. Just hopefully. Well, we've seen Eric Ten Hag just he took him off at 45 minutes last time versus Brentford. So maybe it's just I can see you're frustrated. He just knows Lisandro. He probably knows Lisandro the best out of all his players. And he's just like, you know what? I know what's going to happen. I'm not going to let this game slip away and just decided best to take him off for now. And Lindelof played well, I thought.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he did okay when he came on. I mean, obviously, look, we did get the win. As much as the performance, like you said, was frustrating, and you don't want to be too doom and gloom. What do you think are the positives that we can take out of it? Is it just the fact that we got the win, or is it the fact that actually we've got that in us where we don't play well, we can still grind out those results? What do you think the positives are?
Okay. Well, I have some criticism on Ten Hag. I really think he should have started Sancho. He was the best player throughout preseason, and we always say play your informed players. And we already saw like Sancho was only on for 20 minutes, and he looked like the most informed forward out of the front three. So I don't understand why he played him. And Facundo, not enough time to really get going. But I feel like he should have started Facundo and Sancho instead of Garnacho and Anthony, just in my opinion. But the positives is clean sheet, got the W. I'd say, we just looked really, really flat-footed, really struggled just to get our patterns of play. Like, defense was just sliding, making last-ditch tackles. It was not pretty. I don't think there's too much positives just about the win, I'd say, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair to say. I mean, I suppose also what you could argue is that, that you get the win, so you get the 3 points, but also Ten Hag can actually see that, okay, we're off. we're off it. We've got to really step up our game. And maybe there was a bit of, I want to say arrogance. Maybe there was a bit of complacency of, we're going to play this Wolves team. They've just lost their manager. We'll roll them over and all that kind of stuff. And we can make.
That's why I said like Stretford End really pulled the win for us. Like just didn't feel like the team was ready to play today. To be honest, it just felt like it's always such a bonus for us. Like second half playing towards the Stretford End, we always just seem to get a goal no matter what. So that's the only positive I can really take from this performance. But in the end of the season, hopefully we're just like, we got the win here. It wasn't pretty, but we got it done.
Exactly, indeed. Finally, before I get to someone else, prediction for facing Spurs at the weekend after tonight's result?
I'm just hoping we get more signings and more outgoings. We need Maguire out as soon as possible. We just need to. There's so much going on in the background that needs to be sorted out first. I just want all the all the signings to be sorted out, and then we know what we're working with for the rest of the season. I say that's what I'm looking forward to, and hopefully Spurs do Spurs things. And
exactly, that's what we got to hope for. Exactly. Big up, Lucas. Appreciate you calling in as always. Let's get to super chat from Wayne's list here. It says, imagine 3 times as many points as Liverpool, and then more than double Liverpool and Chelsea combined. 100% record. Invincible is 21 on the way. No doubt about that. I was thinking of the maths initially. I was going, I like it, Wayne. I do appreciate that one. Look, that's the important thing is you get the victory, no doubt about it. Be sure to smash a like on the like button, guys. Got nearly 700 people watching, which is great. It's late on a Monday evening, so if you haven't already clicked the like button, be sure to subscribe. Bottom right hand corner, a reminder, if you do want to call in and you are a member, you can go to the community tab on the United View YouTube channel. Link is there and you'll be able to call in and have your say. Let's go to Joe Blackman. Joe, I can see you're in there. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm disappointed, fam. Very disappointed.
Talk to me.
Very, very, very disappointed, bro. That performance was not good.
No,
that performance was not good, bro.
Wasn't. In particular, what? Or is it just, where do you begin?
Okay, here's where I begin, yeah? Like you said, like everybody's touched on so far, right? We was the last performance of this weekend, yeah? Yes. Everybody watching that, including us, are thinking, why were we the shittest in the top 6? We had the shittest performance in the top 6. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no one could tell me any different. Yeah, looking at that, looking at Tottenham, looking at Chelsea, looking at Liverpool, looking at Arsenal, even Newcastle, everybody looked better than us. And that's what's making me feel annoyed today. Yeah, still trusting in Ten Hag. I mean, we started poorly the last season as well. You know, maybe he still has too much trust in some players. I don't know. Maybe, you know, it's time to put Sancho out there. You can clearly see a reason why we've kept Sancho for so long. Yeah, because he can see something that Sancho brings to his team. Yeah, with Sancho, it's more intricate when he's on the pitch. There's more time in the box. Yeah, there's more threat up above. Yeah, instead of it always being lumbered in the midfield or down in the defense. At least when we was up. At least when we was up in their area, up in the top half of the field, we felt like we was more threatening. As soon as he came on, he popped onto the right. He kind of moved Anthony out of the way and started playing on the right. Yeah, that's when the best chance came. Right, this is what we need to be concentrating on: getting players that can hold the ball up. Yeah, we looked more threatening after Eriksen and Sancho came on.
Yeah, what did you think about the penalty? I've seen in the chat here. You think it was a pen? Give me your thoughts.
Damn right. Well, I'm not being. He took him out, bro. Look, I'm not saying.
It was one of those ones when it happened in real time, wasn't it? You watched him come out and you go, he's not getting anywhere, and he went bang. You went.
Oh, but then I saw the replay, and then I thought, definitely, he didn't even touch the ball.
Yeah.
He didn't even touch the
studio.
Nasty. Because it was bad though. I'm sorry, I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, if that happened to us, what would we be saying? Pen all day.
I'd want it.
Straight up.
Yes.
That's what I thought. I thought we was lucky that he didn't go over there and say pen. Yeah.
And to be fair, I would suppose credit to the VAR and the referee because they love drama, don't they? And that is literally last minute of the game. It had been very easy for them to give.
I don't know. I felt like the referee was trying to avoid drama today. You know, did you not see? He didn't want to give out no cards. He was telling Casemiro to calm down.
Good.
He didn't want no drama today. He didn't want nothing today. Man United first match of the season. I don't want no drama. Everybody hurry up. Get up off the floor. I'm not even putting added time on. Get up. Yeah, he was. I was surprised there's only 2 minutes at the first half. Yeah.
Yeah.
The way they've been going on this season. He wanted none of it. He was off that pitch as quick as we were. right? The referee was good to us today, to be fair, because there was a lot of chances in there that we could have got booked for as well. Even that one Bissaka did, that slide tackle, that was bad too. That could have been last season. That could have even been a red. Like, you got to be careful with these things. Look, I'm just being real serious right now with our performance. That I can't say that, yes, there were some stand-up performances, but if I'm looking at it, like you said, what team looked like their managers that started last week? Do you know what I mean? Our team looked like they didn't know each other.
Yeah.
That other Wolves looked like they was ready. They were ready for. They've been together since like 3-4 seasons.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. Outside of the Onana incident, we'll call it. What did you make of his performance? Made some big saves as well. I think he got voted man of the match by the United fans. Would you say that was fair? Well, a United man of the match. I think the actual man of the match might have been like Cunha or someone like that from Wolves. But what do you think?
For me, For me, Cunha was the man of the match for real. But Onana, good performance, good debut, but he still gives me shaky vibes. I'm sorry, he kind of scares me as a goalkeeper. Like I'm trying to believe in him, innit? But he scares me. he actually scares me as a goalkeeper. That's the truth. Yeah, Money Mount, boy, you just better be careful. We better start putting in some star performances, because when Eriksen came on, he put in a couple of balls, and I was like, boy, who should have started, Eriksen or Mount? I'm not even joking. Yeah, I'd rather maybe start Eriksen, and when he gets tired, then put on Mount if he doesn't start performing properly. Honestly,
I know what you mean, because it's their skill set, isn't it? Because ideally, you want a combination of a Mason Mount and an Eriksen. Like you want the legs of Mount.
You just want Eriksen younger, basically. That's what we really wanted. We wanted Eriksen younger. Exactly. Yeah, we should have got him long time ago. That's the problem. But the problem is right now that we don't have anybody else. Yeah, and I think, although, do you know what? We spent 60 mil on this guy. Like, we could have got someone else. We chose to get Money Mount. Yeah, so if he doesn't perform, bro, his head's on the chopping board. He's better be careful. I don't want to keep on saying it, but anytime I get on something, I'm going to say you better be careful that you don't start getting cool Monopoly Money Mount. Yeah, because if he doesn't start putting in the performances, I'm going to be the first to say it. Yeah, it's already out there.
I mean, with the midfield, then was that one of the biggest points then that worried you? Because I mean, for myself watching, the amount of times they got overrun. Yeah,
we look scared. And you know what? The funny thing is, I'm going to say something that might upset a couple of people, but Bruno scared me a bit today. Bruno was giving the ball a lot away. He was giving the ball away a lot. Even after one of the chances that came from Acuna sprinting forward was from him losing the ball after Sancho came on, about the 70th minute, 71st minute, yeah? Watch it back, around the 70th minute, right? He loses the ball right up close to, we was on a good attack. Bruno receives the ball, Sancho cuts it back to him, Bruno receives the ball, and then he tries to do something fancy and loses the ball, and then straight on the counter attack. And it's like, these little things, it's like, come on, captain, like, don't. I understand he does the special passes every now and then as well, but I do want to see some security from him. I want to see the simple 1-2s. I want to see he's a good captain in terms of what he brings to the pitch, of his energy and stuff like that, but I also want to see a calmness from him sometimes. I feel like he loses the ball in some instances where, come on, bro, we didn't need to do that. Yeah, and from him as the captain,
like a lot of people.
Yeah, but that's the problem. I want to see more from the captain.
Overplaying. He was like a lot, because I noticed that. I think you're right. I think like it was points where it's like Bruno to Anthony overplay it, or Bruno to like Rashford. He didn't know where he was going, and it kind of just felt like, again, not that we're out of ideas. It's just overplaying it.
But that's the thing. That's what it almost felt like at times in the first half, that we were out of ideas already. Like before the game had started, like we had nothing for their press, because they were pressing us high straight away. Since the start of the match, and we just had no answer for that at the beginning. It's like we were scared, passing it around. Like we took time to develop into the game, and it was kind of frustrating for me, to be honest, especially seeing that they were counter-attacking us so hard. Talking about that rock and roll style of football, we're nowhere close to it, man, because we're slow in the build-up. Yeah, we're definitely slow in the build-up, and
more of a sort of a karaoke, not
karaoke or
karaoke.
Or what do you call it? what's that? Oh, when you go to and they play the violins, orchestra football, slow build up.
But even that orchestra, people like that. Karaoke. People like, you can have some proper shitty karaoke singers. I'm telling you.
We got a shout out. Sorry, before I know I've got to go soon. So before we go, yeah, you got to shout out Anthony for cutting to the right for once. Did you see that? I
saw. You might get a one game. Anthony try and go past a player or whatever. It just.
I saw him cut to the right. I almost dropped off my chair, bro. I was like, oh no. But it surprised all of us.
It's because the thing is for me, yeah, I've said stuff about Anthony and people get really angry. Why are you being so negative on Anthony? And it's like that. It's like that kid, right? Where someone's like mentoring and they're like, I know you can do it. I've seen you do it. So I don't know why you don't do it that much. It's the same with him. It's like, go take someone on or, find the pass. And it's just, it's 1 out of 10.
I think he forgot his Brazilian. He forgets his Brazilian, bro. He's been in the Dutch league and he's come to the Premier League. He's forgot his Brazilian. He doesn't know how to do it anymore.
Yeah. But
it's all about the passing. But yes.
Exactly. There you go. Big up Joe Blackman. You got a channel? Have you got a channel? Plug channel?
Oh, yes, I do. Thank you, guys. You know what? My channel is called Backhand Entertainment, guys. We talk about topical discussions. It's not just football. We talk about everything, life, and just general BS.
Bullshit. No, I can.
All right. It's late, isn't it? Yes.
General bullshit. There you go. Big up Joe Blackman. There you go. Subscribe to his channel. Pleasure as always. Let me just check I'm caught up when it comes to the super chats. Indeed, I am. What's it looking like when it comes to the likes at the moment? We've got over 800 people watching. Less than 200. We can do better. I believe. That's how we got the goal tonight. Just pure belief. Don Robbie vibes. Let's go to Sean. Sean, how you doing, mate? What are your thoughts? Stunned into silence, Sean. I'm gonna have to get into like territory of KG countdown. Oh, it's not gone well. It's not gone well. Maybe we'll try again. Here we go. Take 2. You ready for this? Sean, talk to me.
It could have been killed.
I'm going to keep persisting. I'm going to keep going the whole time. I'm going to keep going. It's not working out for Sean. It's difficult. It's difficult. I remember when Sean used to be able to call in and the sound was working. You know what I mean? Not really sort of going in the direction we thought it was going to go in. Really. I mean,
he was special.
Oh, there you go. As Joe Blackman says, silent thoughts. That's what it was. Silent thoughts. Broderick Ford says, Sean is fuming. He can't speak. Yeah, well, it's very challenging. Very challenging. Sean's just said, my mic is screwed like our midfield. Apparently so. Yes. Very, very silent thoughts. Who should we go to next? I believe it's time, actually. I believe it's time to...
Acknowledge me.
I believe the time maybe it might be clobbering time. The time might be now. I believe it's time for the magicutioner. Magicutioner, thank you for gracing us with your presence. Come on, give me something positive out of that game.
Afternoon, Owen.
After what? Evening. But
evening, morning, afternoon, whatever in the world you are. Big up to you, everybody.
Indeed.
Now, I actually have a speech for you.
Oh, I like this. Go on.
It is. So last season, I think was a magical season for Manchester United. I think we must remember that in 2021 and early parts of 2022, we saw a Manchester that I would say is in division. There was, I think, division with the players, organization, division with the fan base, and
yes,
division with the vision. Now,
yes.
Erik ten Hag has changed all of that. I think he has walked in those doors and he brought change. We saw a Manchester that was united, a Manchester that is bred with passion, with grit, and with edge. Now, What is the difference between last season and this season?
Tell me.
Expectation.
Oh,
We won silverware, yes, and even the Carabao Cup counts now. But I think this season there is a new target. We must aim to reach new heights, to ascend into greatness. 20 times we have been at the top of the mountain, and 20 times this club has been at the summit. Now, today, not the best performance. We got lucky, let's be honest. But this is a new race. Everybody starting at the same starting line. We were ground zero. We have 3 points in the bag. There is positivity. Now, my message to the players would be, you have to look at that performance and you have to dig in. You have to come out of that so that, because every team, week in, week out, is going to give it their all to beat you. You not only have, here is the thing. Last season, there was no expectation. Last season, if you had a good performance, that was a surprise. Teams were not prepared for you. This season, it's different. This season, teams are going to prepare for what they think Ten Hag is building. And because of that, you have to come, bring your brothers, gather your forces, train, and time is now.
Is that the end of the speech?
No, that's the end of the speech, yeah.
The end of the speech, yeah. How would I rate it? It was brave. I think it was very brave. We did. The time. I'm not sure the time is now because the game's finished.
Well, the time for reflecting and training and doing better, I think
it's always a time for reflection. It's always time to reflect. Yeah, I mean, I got distracted at points because I thought, imagine the magicutioner standing in front. Imagine Erik ten Hag's doing his post-match team talk, and he goes, "It's clear, I don't need to talk to you. I'm going to bring someone in. Okay, it's the magicutioner." And I was thinking, imagine he was saying it to this group of players.
Oh, here's the thing. If I walk into the room, we're walking in, there's music going, it's going to be like, doo, 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 doo. I'm jumping off a turnbuckle. It's going to be lit, right?
Why is there a turnbuckle in the dressing room?
Well, we hide it behind the booth, surprise, that's what's there. You have to come in with a lot of surprises, really.
I don't know where it was going. Why was there a turnbuckle in Old Trafford's dressing room? I mean, according to Ronaldo, there's not even an ice bath. There's not an ice bath in there, but there's a turnbuckle and a masked luchador talking about the time is now. Once the game's finished, the time is now. Who is this? Eric, what have you done? Oh, I mean...
Oh, blimey.
It's very good. It's very, very good. I'm all in with the Magicutioner gimmick. You know what I mean? I'm all in with it. I love it. Yeah, it's tremendous. Absolutely. and we did, clearly.
Acknowledge me.
You've got to every single time. Where do we go next? Where do we go next for this one? Let's go to Marcus. Marcus, you've been waiting a while. Marcus,
how's it going?
In the game? All good, mate. All good. How are you?
I'm not sure after that. I mean,
yeah, follow that. Follow the Magicutioner. Follow that, and then talk about the game. Unbelievable.
I have no idea what to say after watching that.
I don't know.
Watching the game, I think too many fans do not understand the way that Ten Hag wants to play, and so they don't analyze what has gone wrong and what has gone right. Someone earlier said that we shouldn't have bought Mount, we should have bought someone else. But if you understand the way that Ten Hag plays, Mount actually did really well. He was actually one of the few players who did what Ten Hag was instructing him to do. I think him and Onana, pretty much it. Everyone else was was nowhere near. The centre backs were, I think, the worst. Martinez and Shaw were Varane were so terribly bad because their whole role within the team is to find Mount and Bruno within half spaces, and they just didn't. Not once. Every time they brought the ball out from the back, there was nothing. There was no pass into the half spaces. Casemiro never did it either. And then we just kept getting caught. If you play a 3-1-6 as we do all the time, well, which we hope to do under Ten Hag, you've got to make sure that you do not lose the ball. You have to keep it, and if you do lose the ball, you've got to get it back really quick. And we didn't do that either. We would press with 4 or 5 people. We would be in the right positions to get the ball back, but too many times, I think I counted up to 10 times where they would get out of our press, and it just happened too many times. I mean, and then as you probably saw, I think magicutioner would just sprint through the entire pitch.
Yeah. It was just literally a couple of 1-2s, and then he was through every time. They couldn't get close to him.
And that's happening not because we've only got Casemiro there, it's because we are set up in such a way that when we lose the ball high up the pitch, there's 4 or 5 Man United players, including Casemiro, who's got to challenge someone, has got to get the ball back. But in this instance, we would never get the ball back, and they would bypass the press with such ease. And obviously, Wolves did play quite well. I mean, but it's Wolves. I mean, their players are not fantastic. They've got some good players, but I think people blaming. It's just the system is very risky, and we got to make sure that we have to adhere by the rules and the principles of the system. Otherwise, this will not work. It just won't. That's why I'm not really going to blame players individually, per se, but the system just did not work as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, were you surprised with certain people that didn't start? Then, if we're looking at the system not working as a whole, were you a bit shocked by some of the personnel selected? Some people say maybe Sancho should have started, considering the preseason he had. What did you think of the 11 that he picked, Ten Hag?
I mean, I was fine with the 11. Sancho maybe fun, but the thing is with Rashford being up front is that he's really good in the channels. And what Bruno did constantly throughout the game was he would get the ball deep and he would look diagonally. He was always looking for that diagonal ball over to the left-hand side, the right-hand side, or just basic channels. And Rashford would run in, and then that was the game. But I saw what the game plan was, so I can see what Ten Hag is wanting to do. I can see the system. When people say to me and fans say to me on Twitter, "Oh, we don't have a system. Oh, we got no ideas." We got loads of ideas, but we're not implementing these ideas at all. Every single rule was not followed at all. Centre backs were not passing in between the lines. There was no movement. The wingers have got no output. The wingers, when they, especially on the transition, you've got to. People always say this all the time as well. People always say that we don't create chances, and I say to them, if you watch the game back and count how many times we would have these sort of half chances where we can make a good chance, we have loads of them. Last season we had just as much big chances as Man City did. But what Man City did have more than us was basically they had more XG. So they would have, both teams would have like 3 massive chances a game. Man City would score all of them because they got, a robot Haaland up front. But they would also have, like 5 or 10 half chances, and those would be converted into goals. Whereas we have hardly any. And we don't have hardly any because we would get into these positions. Sometimes we would, your time where we would win the ball back high up the pitch. We didn't do anything with it. It was so annoying.
No,
Bruno would get the ball
agree.
and he would just pass it and to no one. And he would get it. He can't use his right foot because he hasn't got one. He would cut into his left and cross it or shoot. It would go way over. And that is the type of thing that would really concern me.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the wingers were a particular point of frustration for me, particularly in the first half, when I was looking at Garnacho on the left. And like I said earlier on, just when you think, okay, he's a starter now, he's ready to start, he does a game like that where you go, well, maybe he's an impact player again, because like you said, output. Earlier on in the game, you need output. Anthony at this stage, I mean, we're hoping for him to develop and, move on this season. But you know what you're going to get from him, really, again, which is, I said 1 out of 10, not in terms of performance. I mean, out of 1 out of 10 circumstances, is it going to lead to something positive? Because you just don't know. Like, again, he'll be poor pass, or like I said, it was so frustrating at points in the first half in particular, but as well in the second too, where we get the ball 2/3 up the pitch, maybe the edge of their box, 20, 25 yards out, and every single time that final pass just wouldn't be there. It would just be, or it's the wrong pass, And that's what I've been saying about people saying, "Oh, Højlund's going to come in and score goals," but I don't know if it's necessarily just about that. I think it's everyone in that front, let's say 3 or 4. They've all got to be way more productive, I think.
Yeah, Højlund coming in will do nothing. Højlund could have been up front, and we would have played the same way, because fundamentally, Ten Hag's got a system, and if you don't abide by the rules, it won't work. And a system like ours, which is risky, it's 3-1-6 in possession. It's you got to make sure that when you lose it up top, you got to claim it back, because otherwise, Casemiro looked dead on his feet, because the amount of times, I think the reason why the Premier League is the best, well, not probably the best, but the most tough league in the world is because of the transitions. In La Liga, they'll just pass it around for ages. But in this league, transitions all the time. And God, the amount of times Casemiro went for a challenge and missed, and then Kunna is running at our back four, and it's mayhem. So he was dead on his feet. I felt quite bad for him. I can see why Ten Hag wanted Frenkie de Jong now, because we needed it. Because I noticed halfway through the game, Bruno went into the deep lying playmaker role because Casemiro could not pass to anyone. He couldn't find a single player in half space. And when you're playing a 3-1-6, Wan-Bissaka's up there, Bruno's up there, Mount's up there. If you lose the ball, we are finished. So I implore people who's watching this as well, you've got to understand the system. You've got to understand it, because then you can see what we're trying to do and what we're going wrong. But you can't just say, Casemiro bin him, Mount bin it, because you've got to understand their role within the team.
Yeah, absolutely. Just finally, before I go to some more callers, what did you make of the penalty call with Onana? Did you were you worried?
Ooh, it was 50-50 for me. As a goalkeeper, you've got to come out. Well, I don't have to come out, but you've got to try and claim it. But I think goalkeepers are very protected. If they come out and they miss it, it's like, oh, well, he tried to go for the ball and he already headed it. So it's just one of those things. I mean, if I was in opposition, I would probably claim it as a penalty. So it's hard to say.
No, I totally agree. I think I'd be the same. I the more I watched it, I went, because that happens a lot. That instant happens a lot. But if it was the opposite side, I would want it. Big up, Marcus. Appreciate you calling in as always. Big up, Marcus. That was a great call, that. Be sure to smash the like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Where am I when it comes to super chats here? Lil Yo-Yo says, thoughts on Taif Chong invading the pitch at Old Trafford. It wasn't Taif Chong. It was just Josh Media, actually, with his big frizzy hair. He came on the pitch. I don't know why. There are rumors that the person coming on the pitch was going no, and wow, and so I think it might have been just Josh Media, Graphics Guru, Visual Ninja, maybe. Unconfirmed reports. I don't know. Daniel Morrison says super dragon. People won't get that reference at all. Daniel Morrison. No one's going to get that. V33 says, waking up at 3 a.m. to watch that crappy 90 minutes FML. This is the thing. People learnt that across pre-season. I always say the global fan base, it's their dedication to United is ridiculous. Again, imagine waking up 3 a.m. I'm going to watch this. And then you watch that. You'd be like, oh, my God. Big up to V33 and all of the global audience. Like I said, we've got a real global community here at United View. Just a little bit of an update before I get to the next call, because we've spoken quite a bit about the penalty decision, the VAR and all that kind of stuff. So Erik ten Hag was asked about the penalty call, and he said, quote, VAR looked and decided not to give. Of course, we are happy. I don't feel I have to react to Gary O'Neill's interpretation. It is about the referee and VAR. The two players from Wolves come together. Andre didn't interfere the action from both of them. That's what he said. But Gary O'Neill has now spoken in his press conference, I believe, and it's been reported by Laurie Whitwell and both Simon Stone that Gary O'Neill is saying that the PG MLO's John Moss has spoken to him after the game and admitted Wolves should have had a penalty and it was a clear and obvious error. So Gary O'Neill is stating that the PG MLO have already said to him that they believe it should have been given a penalty. It was a clear and obvious error, and they got something wrong, which again is very interesting. Actually, let me put a poll in the chat. I mean, we're probably going to be a bit biased in terms of this outcome, but should Wolves have received, Grammar Owen, a penalty? Poll is just about in the chat. There you go. You can have your vote on that. But according to the PGMLO, they're saying yes, he should have been given a penalty. It was clear and obvious. I can't lie. Like I said, if it happened to if it's 0-0, yeah, and the ball was in the box, Rafael Varane goes up for the header, and the Wolves keeper comes out, clatters him like that, and is nowhere near the ball, I want it. I do. Now, as a goalkeeper, I know that I've done this playing where you come out and you're just nowhere near it. You fly into a player and they tend not to be given just because when a goalkeeper flies out, there's contact and people don't really take a second look at them. But I do think Wolves are right to be aggrieved. I think it's a penalty. I think it is a penalty. And you can't let the bias get you there. But who cares? We won. So, Wolves, I would say, I know you're upset and I can sympathize with how you feel, but ultimately
it doesn't matter how you feel.
Brilliant. Let's get to another caller. Let's go to Red Devils 99. Red Devils 99, what were your thoughts on the game? How are you feeling?
Hey, Owen. I'm not sure how to feel about the game. That was pretty crap.
Yes,
waiting for the season to begin, and after all this time, the performance not good.
But is there still a positive in the fact that, look, it's not a loss. We weren't at our best. We get a win. Is that the positive to take out of it, that we have that ability to grind out those results, or are you thinking towards, say, Spurs next weekend? That could be challenging.
Next week will be challenging, but yeah, as you said, the positives were the 3 points and a clean sheet. I think if it were not under Ten Hag, maybe under Solskjaer, we would have considered at the end. It would have been a draw or maybe even a loss. So that was the positive. And I think Onana was pretty good, actually, apart from the penalty shout. His crossing was pretty refreshing. I think after Van der Sar, after 10 years, we saw a keeper who could claim the crosses. So that was pretty refreshing to see.
I mean, it was because you're right, and obviously he missed for the penalty incident or the non-penalty incident, but right afterwards there was a ball in the box that he claimed really, really well. So at least he's showing that desire and want to come out and claim the ball. Certainly, I think again he was voted United's man of the match. What other players stood out for you, I guess, positively or negatively coming out of that game?
Positively, not many. Onana was the positive one because he also made some pretty good saves. I think Wan-Bissaka looked good. He looked good, but at times he was trying too much on the ball. Got caught out a few times. I think Sancho looked good. When it came on. Yeah, and negatively there were a few. I think Casemiro was probably the biggest one.
Lots of people have been talking about him. Do you think that he sort of ran out of steam as the game went on? Yes,
I think so, because the Casemiro had a lot of ground to cover, because the way we're playing with essentially two number 8s who are, let's face it, two number 10s. Man City used to play like that during the, when they had De Bruyne and Silva and Fernandinho, but Fernandinho would have support of Fabian Delph, and then Arsenal trying to do the same thing but they have this. We need someone, whether it be Dalot, as an inverted fullback, or maybe Martinez playing as a, you know how Stone does it for Man City, like going into midfield. Like we need someone alongside Casemiro if we are trying to play with Bruno and Mount. So otherwise it would be, I think, second half he just looked like, there was one instance where I think it was Cunha who was running with the ball, and Casemiro, just someone other than Cunha barged into Casemiro and he just gave up. So yeah, he
Yeah,
just
I mean,
looked gassed.
what did you think of Rashford through the middle? Of course, he started up front today. I mean, going forward, Martial shockingly was on the bench. Obviously, we've signed Højlund. Do you think that playing up front kind of neutralizes Rashford's game a little bit? Does he need to be out on the left to be more effective, do you think?
I think at this point for me, Marcus up top is like Bruno on the right. I don't want to see it. Because even Rashford admitted it when talking with Gary Neville. He doesn't switches off when playing at number 9 because he doesn't get frequent touches of the ball. And yeah, I think even in the past, Jose Mourinho said it, Rashford is not a number 9. So I would much rather see even Sancho at false 9, or, we need Højlund or Martial back as soon as we can get them back. And I wouldn't mind seeing Rashford as a number 9, but not in the Premier League. Maybe against a lower opposition, like in the Carabao Cup, or maybe some European side, like in the Champions League, weaker European side, but not in the Premier League. No.
Yeah. Finally, obviously got Spurs next week. What's your prediction for it? Are we going to go back-to-back wins, or is it going to be difficult?
It is going to be difficult, but obviously I'm going to predict a win. I think it will be 2-1 maybe. Yeah.
There you go. 2-1. Back-to-back victories. Big up Red Devils 99 for calling in. Let's see if I'm caught up when it comes to super chats. I think I am as well. Doing my best to keep caught up when it comes to the super chats. How many likes are we currently on? We're at 270. 270. We can do more. If you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe. And remember, we're going to be doing, obviously, the full-time view. It was kind of a bit of a new thing. I mean, the full-time view actually technically has existed in several iterations throughout UV history. That's how I started doing on UV, actually, was doing the I think we just called them match reactions at the time. But it's been a thing. And then we brought it back last year, and now it's back again as this sort of fan call-in show. And if you do want to participate, if you're watching this after the fact and you're like, oh, I missed out on that, or if you're watching just and you're not a UV member and you go, how do I get involved? If you become a member, you can, the link gets posted after every game. You can call in, have your say, vent or celebrate, depending on the result. Ahmad with the super chat. By the way, I saw, because I was at UVHQ today, you might have seen a cameo when we scored. I sort of jumped on KG. Poor KG. He messaged me during the game asking me if we got coffee because he was tired. He was flagging. Gavin Carey was struggling in the stream today. I don't know if you noticed. I don't know if you noticed, but he was struggling a little bit. But I did notice, and the reason I bring this up about Ahmad, Sheikh Ahmad's back, because I saw some gifted memberships, and maybe some people have called in through the gifted membership from Sheikh Ahmad. So unbelievable stuff. Minority shareholder in United View at this point. But he says here, winning the games where you're not the better side is the stuff of champions. First game of the season, 3 points, can't ask for more. Erik ten Hag will whip them into shape. I certainly hope so. I think that might be something he does think about, is that this is the thing as well. Ten Hag, I haven't seen all of his post-match comments or anything like that, so I don't know if he's come out and said, we were rubbish, we were this, that, and the other, but he'll know. He'll know, and he'll say it to that group of players in the dressing room after the game that I don't want, because I think it does a disservice to say to Wolves, we're lucky we were playing Wolves. But, if we played, let's say, a team in the top, it's not even top 6 anymore, top 7, or, a top team, we'd have been punished. And we were hanging on. We absolutely were. And he'll know that. And he'll be looking to that moving forward. And I think that we can't lie, going into playing Spurs next week away from home, we saw how he played away from home last season, and it doesn't fill you up with a load of confidence, obviously. So, but again, he'll know. He'll certainly know. El Caps with the super chat as well says Mount Tominay, 55 million. Tonali was 53 million, by the way, just saying. Tonali looks very impressive. Newcastle looked very impressive. But also as well, sound like Simon Stone there, don't I? Eric. You can't get too carried away. That's the important thing. When you think back to first games of the season in years gone by, I've seen a lot this week of people talking, I remember first game when we played Leeds at home and we won 5-1 and Pogba got 4 assists and we signed Varane. It was 2 years ago today or something like that, wasn't it? And we thought, oh, wow, what a great season this is going to be. This is going to be incredible. By the end of the season, Ralph Rangnick was in interim charge. Erik ten Hag was coming through the door because nothing had worked out. And the season started so well then. And we thought after that we were going to win the league, maybe. Then we signed Ronaldo and all that kind of stuff. So it just goes to show that the start of the season really means nothing, really. We lost our first 2 games and we still finished 3rd. And in sort of January time last year, we were talking about, are we in the chase for the title? So, obviously you want to lay yourself a good foundation. You want to win as many games as possible. But I do kind of agree with what those people are saying in some of the calls this evening when it's like, hey, look, you get the win. You move on to the next one. And the next one, if we beat Spurs away, and look, they are vulnerable. They don't have Harry Kane, but it's a dangerous situation. Their first home game of the season. I think Ange Postecoglou is a good coach. I really do. I know people are saying, you can't compare Celtic to the Premier League and all that kind of stuff, but I think he's a good coach and he's got good philosophy and good tactics. But if we win there next week, that's already something that we weren't really doing last season, wasn't it? It's getting those big away victories against those top sides. So that's the real test. But if we play like we did today, we'll be in trouble because even if Spurs, and this is the thing too, remember when we played Spurs away last season, Spurs were on the floor. Ryan Mason was there. Stellini had just left, right? Not Conte, Stellini had just left. New manager bounce. New manager bounce. New manager bounce had already gone. And we went 1-0 up and we managed to allow them to get back in the game. Even then, it was miraculous. There was a stadium full of people that didn't like their team. And by the end, we made them like their team. How even possible was that? I don't know. So we've got to make sure that Saturday it is, isn't it? That we're ruthless, we don't allow them to get in the game, and we take our chances. But I don't know. I don't know what to expect. And finally, Daniel Morrison says, Super Dragon. Now, again, people won't get the reference. A lot of people won't understand the reference. If you don't, just Google it. Actually, I'll explain it. The story of Super Dragon is that basically a small-time... I can't even believe I'm explaining this. A small-time wrestling show, a guy just kept shouting Super Dragon over and over and over again. But for at least a good 10, 15 minutes. And it just got ridiculous and annoying. And it's almost like it's the best heckle you've ever seen. Again, I can't do it justice. You've got to go watch it. You have to. Anyway, guys, appreciate everyone that's called in. Apologies if I couldn't get to your call. There were quite a few callers this evening. I'll make sure you get back on next time. Full-time view, as I mentioned, will be back on Saturday after the Spurs game. What's on tap for the remainder of the week? Fan view should be going up now. I don't know if they are up, but they should be going up as we are chatting at this moment in time. There'll be fan views, obviously, from in the studio with KG and the like. There'll also be fan views from outside of Old Trafford with Flex and the crew there too. Tomorrow, 9 a.m., as always, the transfer view will be live. We're discussing the latest Manchester United transfer happenings. I think there's a bit of an update when it comes to Harry Maguire and things like that. And maybe there's a bit of a reaction from what happened this evening as well. Anyway, guys, appreciate everyone that's tuned in. Appreciate everyone that's called in. And I'll speak to you again very soon. Have a good one. Peace.